Like, you could not find a better example of why the Democrats, even in the face of the disaster that the Trump administration has quickly showed itself to be, have a 26% approval rating. You could not find a better example of why that is than Stacy Plaskett. And here they are all rallying around her to protect her when she's been exposed in the most blatant and humiliating way possible. Okay. This is Russell Dobular with Keaton Weiss filling in for Jimmy Dore, who is touring the beautiful land down under. So Stacy Plaskett was revealed to have literally taken orders and directions from Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing questioning Michael Cohen. So we'll take a look at that video here, and then the aftermath of this revelation. Newly released documents reviewed by the Washington Post appear to indicate that during a 2019 hearing where Michael Cohen testified, Jeffrey Epstein was texting with Delegate Stacey Plaskett, Democrat, Virgin Islands. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing and matched the texts, which were sent in Pacific time with the video. So Epstein texts her, "Are you chewing?"
The United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago,
not anymore, she says.
That only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of the secrets. This is Donald Trump's assistant. This is what Epstein's texting to her.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony.
Rona, she asks.
Review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym?
Or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your
That's
idea
his
for
assistant.
the campaign dating back to 2011.
Your O'Connor sitting right there. He was so close. Case slipped right under his nose.
Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisenberg is the chief financial officer.
You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so look at what she does there. She rushes him so that she can get to the person that Epstein directed her to focus on.
Yep.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his.
Good work,
she's
Epstein says.
Involved in a lot.
Yeah, it all worked out.
All right. Now, I like to think that I am no longer a sweet summer child, that I am wise in the ways of Washington and the Democratic Party. When I saw this break, I honestly assumed they were going to call her and tell her to step down from her committees. I assumed that that's just, they're in the middle of, this is the first break they've caught in a long time. This Epstein thing, it's working for them in spite of whoever is Democrat aligned that might be implicated. So far, you got a younger generation like Kana, too young to have been on that island, too young to have visited Epstein for donations, unlike Plaskett herself. But no. Okay, so the GOP did bring to the floor a effort to censure Plaskett, which would have led to her being removed from her committees. Here is Jamie Raskin, who has been making a lot of noise about the morality of the Epstein files, making maybe the craziest, dumbest defense of this that you could imagine.
They want to take a former United States prosecutor, the representative of the people of the Virgin Islands, and without even going to the ethics committee, much less a court, they want to arraign her on some charges based on a newspaper article that she did something lawful. However ill-advised it may have been, she took a phone call from one of her constituents. Now, I don't think it is the position of the very distinguished gentleman
Jeffrey
that
Epstein.
if we find Jeffrey Epstein on the phone with Donald Trump, he should be impeached for it, or is that his position? Is his position that anytime Jeffrey Epstein got somebody on the phone, and he got a lot of people on the phone, that person is suddenly guilty? That sounds like guilt by association. That sounds like collective guilt.
So you're making the same
guilt.
exact.
He's going like vaguely Zionist now.
Well, he's making the same exact case that Mike Johnson made. He's making the same exact case that Mike Johnson made to defend Donald Trump. That's the exact same case.
Yes, that is really the level of hypocrisy and just political tone deafness to go to the mat. I honestly don't understand it.
No.
She's a delegate from the freaking Virgin Islands. Like, why would you not just withdraw her? And then you can run on that, right? Hey, when we found that somebody in our own house was taking direction, oh, he's a constituent. Oh, the one who at that point had long been recognized as a convicted sex offender. Oh, that constituent. Okay, so can all the sex offenders in the Virgin Islands just call members of Congress, delegates, and tell them how to handle hearings? Like what? It's just insane. Not to be outdone, Crockett. And this is the direction they're going in. Well, what if we're going to apply those standards to your people? See, this is the thing, guys. Most American people's answer to, well, so do you want these people held accountable? Most Americans who you're supposed to be working for would say yes.
Well, also,
yes, I thought this is what we're talking about, that everyone in the Epstein files should be held accountable.
That's the whole thing. You're trying to prosecute a case here.
Right.
It's like you're trying to prosecute a case against Donald Trump, ultimately, at the end of the day. So what political sense does it make to basically exonerate him by exonerating Stacy Plaskett?
For who? Like, for Plaskett? Why?
For what?
Why?
She doesn't even vote. She doesn't. It's not like you can't.
No, she's a delegate.
Well, we're the minority party. We need every vote we can get. We had 218 for Epstein, and so she's our 218th vote. So we can't let her go. No, she doesn't vote. She does you no good whatsoever. None.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. So here's Crockett, who claims that Lee Zeldin took money from Epstein. But it turns out that the Dr. Jeffrey Epstein who donated to Zeldin is not that Jeffrey Epstein.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly: Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous. You
expose our corrupt politicians, we'll expose yours is not the winning political trump card you seem to think it is. That is not a winning argument for the American people. That's not appealing to most people. You might have some MSNBC libs who eat that up.
Well, also strategically, it's completely backwards. Like, I could understand making that argument if you're the majority party and you have the presidency, because then you're telling the minority party, hey, you fuck with us, we're going to fuck you back. And we have more people than you, so we're going to end up on top at the end of all that. You're the minority party trying to go on offense and prosecute a case. And you're saying at the other side of your mouth, well, it doesn't matter that she was taking orders from Jeffrey Epstein. If it's a problem for us, we'll make it a problem for you. You
we'll
have
go
to make
after your people.
Yeah.
All right. So here's Plaskett. Here's Plaskett trying to talk her way out of this.
I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time.
That's an absolute lie. He had been prosecuted as a sex offender 11 years before.
The guy was about to be murdered with piano wire in his cell. It was 2019. The guy was dead a few months after he sent those text messages. No, nobody.
The idea that this was not known,
that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently.
Okay, so she's trying to take this angle too, that she was trying to maintain the relationship because she was trying to get information from him. She has not defined what that information was, by the way. She's just kind of vaguely hinting at information. We showed this. We're not going to show it in this segment. We showed when we covered the first part of this on our own show. She was the one who really grilled Schellenberger and Taibbi and called them so-called journalists during the Twitter Files hearings. You could not find a more disgusting example of exactly the kind of Democrat that makes people run in the other direction, that makes people vote for anyone who's not a Democrat. Like, you could not find a better example of why the Democrats, even in the face of the disaster that the Trump administration has quickly showed itself to be, have a 26% approval rating. You could not find a better example of why that is than Stacy Plaskett. And here they are all rallying around her to protect her when she's been exposed in the most blatant and humiliating way possible, other than being in a sex tape, which she was actually, but not related to Jeffrey Epstein. All right, so here she is on CNN, and good on them. They pushed back on a lot of this.
Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
There are a lot of people who have committed a lot of crimes.
It's like what Trump said about the Syria guy. Remember, Jelani came. He says he's had a rough past.
Yeah,
we've all had a rough past.
It's a lot of killers out there.
Yeah,
a lot of killers. I am a delegate for the Virgin Islands. 93% of people on the Virgin Islands have been convicted of a crime. So if I did not take texts from criminals, I wouldn't be able to represent the Virgin Islands.
Yeah. On the Virgin Islands, the pillows are not stuffed with feathers; they're stuffed with $100 bills. So
$100 bills.
I can tell you, everybody's guilty of something. Yeah, and cocaine. Yes, $100
I overdosed
bills
once staying at a hotel. So this failed. Republicans failed to oust Plaskett from House Intel and shock vote. Now, this is because not only did every single fucking Democrat, I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that. All of these people, Ro Khanna, right? The Squad, all these people who claim they're so horrified about Jeffrey Epstein. This was the first opportunity they got to turn the page and to start to deflect some of the accusations of hypocrisy around this issue. Why didn't you do this under Biden? Why didn't you do this under Biden? This was their first opportunity to say, it's a new day. That's it. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. We're too young to have been fucking on that island. We don't care. First opportunity, all of them lined up to defend this piece of fucking garbage that does nothing but drive people out of the party. Nothing. She does absolutely nothing for the Democrats but turn people off to Democrats. But, of course, you needed some Republican defectors, given that unity on the part of the Democrats. So 6 Republicans did not support the censure resolution. And this is when you always know the fix is in, when it's just enough to get you over the number. Right. They made a deal. It's 214 to 213. They figured out who's bulletproof in their district, right? And those are the ones who were allowed to vote that way.
Probably didn't get Clay Higgins to stick up.
He's done enough this week for the AIPAC lobby. Yeah. So voted no. Lance Gooden, Don Bacon, David Joyce, and 3 voted present to get it right over the line. Now, the reason they did that was to protect their own corrupt politician who's been accused of domestic violence by his ex-girlfriend and threatening to release indelicate pictures of her. So the Democrats said, well, if you get rid of Plaskett, we're going to go after him. We have a tweet summing all this up from Marjorie Taylor Greene that we'll read. But here is Anna Paulina Luna calling out her fellow Republicans in the House as a whole on this.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Florida seek recognition?
I have a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentlelady from Florida will state her inquiry.
I was wondering if the Speaker of the House of Representatives can explain why leadership on both sides, both Democrat and Republican, are cutting back-end deals to cover up public corruption in the House of Representatives from both Republican and Democrat members of Congress.
The gentlelady has not stated a proper parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you very much, but I think the American people know what happened tonight.
The gentlelady may now show her bitch mouth.
So here is Marjorie Taylor Greene explaining exactly what happened. Yesterday, after 5 ridiculous months of fighting the White House and the Speaker to get Congress to finally vote to release the Epstein files, a deal was made to stop the censure of Stacy Plaskett, a Democrat delegate from the territory of U.S. Virgin Islands, which would have also kicked her off the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence that oversees U.S. intelligence activities for texting with Epstein during an oversight committee hearing in 2019. Plaskett texted with Epstein as he advised her questions during the Michael Cohen hearing, knowing his convictions and record of rape and trafficking girls and women. This was the reason for last night's censure resolution vote. What was the deal that was made? 3 Republicans crossed the aisle and voted with Democrats to stop the Plaskett censure resolution in a swap so the Democrats would not bring up the Corey Mills censure resolution for alleged physical assaults and threatening to release pornography on an ex-girlfriend and ethics violations and questionable military record. Apparently, he pulled a Tim Waltz and claimed stolen valor. You, the American people, should be outraged by this against both parties, and you should be asking many questions. For example, why does Plaskett, who is a non-voting delegate from a U.S. territory, serve on the House Intelligence Committee, Ways and Means, and Budget Committee? Those are very powerful, influential committees, and she can't even vote on the House floor. Honestly, when that came up with Schellenberger and Taibbi, I was wondering that. Like, why is she even on these committees? Like, why would they? I don't understand. That never made any sense to me. And Corey Mills serves on the House Armed Services Committee, Foreign Affairs, and subcommittees on intelligence. So why did both sides work together to stop both Plaskett and Mills censure resolutions last night in order to protect both Plaskett and Mills? Members of Congress like me never, ever receive such protection and never will. Instead of working to pass legislation that supports policies you voted for, passing our appropriation bills, and solving real crisis issues like healthcare, Congress is trapped in the quicksand of the swamp with no intention of getting out. And according to accounts, Nancy Mace actually screamed at the 3 Republicans who voted no on the House floor. So I don't know how reliable this is. It's coming from Nick Sorter, but he says that Nancy Mace will be moving to censure Corey Mills today. Several Republican members are livid over alleged backroom deals that killed the censures of Ilhan Omar and Stacy Plaskett in order to protect Mills from investigation. So we'll see if that actually materializes. But yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it, man. It's bipartisan corruption. They wanted to protect their own corrupt member, so they did a quid pro quo. We'll get just enough votes for you to keep her. But as Marjorie Taylor Greene lays out there, on both sides, why? Like, why? Why are you going this far to protect these two? I mean, with Plaskett, with the connection with Epstein, and it seems like a lot of funky shit goes on the Virgin Islands. You have to start to wonder, like, why did she get put on these committees? Like, is she working for intelligence? Like, what was her relationship with Epstein beyond what we understand right now? Because it just doesn't add up that you would take a non-voting delegate and put them on these very sought after, very powerful committees. Like, why is that? And on the other side, why are the Republicans going this far to rescue a guy who, look, man, we know Republicans don't care much about smacking your woman around, but they do care about stolen valor. Like, why are you protecting this guy? The whole thing just makes no sense.
I mean, the Occam's razor perspective at this point is that, like, all of these people are corrupt and they all have, skeletons in their closet, and they all know that if the gentleman's agreement is broken, that it's open season on one person, then eventually their number
Right.
will be up.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that makes sense.
That's like the simplest explanation. It's kind of the only one that makes sense, especially with
It still
Stacey
doesn't
Plaskett.
explain Plaskett's career, though.
Well,
What is she even doing on those?
When it comes to the committees and the ranks and stuff like that, that's where you have to wonder. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in the Virgin Islands. There's a lot of money in the Virgin Islands. Who knows? I mean, that's a rabbit hole. We can't do anything but speculate about that, at least for the time being. But why everybody goes to bat for each other is because, I think they fear that their number could be up one day if people start looking to their side.
Come see me on tour in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Waikiki, Hawaii, and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.